Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Funke Lemo. I am a Nigerian immigrant in Canada and I post videos about my life in Canada. If you're new here and you're just seeing my face for the first time, where have you been? You're welcome. Please do not forget to click the subscribe button and also like this video, comment and share. And if you're my OG, if you're my subscriber, it's good to see you again. I appreciate your love and your support, your likes, your comments, and your shares. Keep doing them. Keep doing them. I really appreciate you guys. All right. In today's video, I'll be talking about the different kinds of living apartments in Ontario or in Canada, but in Canada in general, but I would focus majorly on what I know in my province. Because when I came, I didn't know the difference between some houses. I just hear stuff like condo, apartment, townhouse, um, condo, apartment, um, basement. I hear stuff like that. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what it was really. I didn't know until okay, I started looking for apartment, started looking for a house, and then I needed to just start finding out what it is and what the difference between the different apartments and what it means. So I'm here to just help someone out. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if you're just coming into Canada. Or I don't know if you're already even in Canada, but you don't even know what it is. So I'm just here to help you out with the little knowledge I know. Yeah, with the little knowledge I know. So, first of all, when you're coming into Canada as an immigrant, you of course would have started scouting for okay, where are you gonna stay, where are you gonna live. If you have families here or you have maybe like a friend or somebody that you know can help you when you come, it's always very nice to make very good use of people that you've already know, because trust me, you need soft landing. And this is what I mean by soft landing. Soft landing is when you come into Canada and you have a place to stay, a place where you have somebody living in, not a place like Airbnb where you just have to stay alone. But soft landing, which is the best kind of soft landing, is when you have someone in Canada that or where you're coming, the area you're coming to, that you can stay with for like the first few weeks while you get your life settled. It's very important. If you have that kind of person, it's golden. And if the person has offered to help you on landing, it's golden. Like, I'll forever be grateful to the people that helped me when I came or helped us when we came. It was really golden. That's what they call soft landing. So if you have the opportunity to have people like that in the province where you're going to, hold on tight to such beautiful relationships, because they're going to really help your first few months in Canada, soft. Like, they would help. It's going to be a lot of work, but it will help you out, in understanding some basic things. So yeah, so basically we have like three different kind of buildings where people live in Canada. Like, even as I'm talking majorly as immigrants, because that's what I came in as, and that's what I know so far. So we have the basement. Back in Nigeria, I used to think that basements are like, underground houses, like when something is happening up in the normal world, like on the land. Basement is where you can go to and be living your life and be cruising and you're not affected by what is happening up. That's what I used to think. Like, I had that kind of lame understanding about it. But here I understand that basement is actually an apartment. And trust me, I am one of those people that will tell you that when you come into Canada, there is nothing wrong if you stay in a basement. The most important thing is that it is habitable. That's the most important thing. It is habitable, like you can live there. That's the most important thing. But don't downplay and say, oh, basement is under the ground, you cannot stay in the base. No, if that's what you can afford. Because we also have to talk about the expenses too, but we'll get to that. But what I'm trying to say is that a basement is always like the underground path of a house. And some basements are always built in such a way as a complete house, like as a complete apartment, like a flat. You know what we call, I'll try and relate most of them to what we know in Nigeria. You know what a flat is now? Like a 2-bedroom flat, or like a 1-bedroom flat, or like a self-contained, how it looks like in Nigeria. basements are always built that way. You have your restroom. People that landlords that want to rent out their basements, they always make sure that it is all encompassing. You have your restroom, you have a kitchen where you can cook, you have your eating area. It's always really, 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 really cool. I'll try and look for pictures of places that like basement, and I'll post them on the screen so you could see. If you were not told, you would not know that it's a basement. Like, you would not know from pictures, you would not know that it's a basement. But trust me, I've seen really, really nice basements and habitable ones, and you should not downplay it and just say, okay, I can't stay in a basement, because at that time maybe that's just what you can afford. And for basement, of course, you know that you have somebody staying in the main building, which is either the landlord or another rental unit. So the person that gives out the basement will of course you have a place where you could wash laundry. And most of the time for basement, the laundry might not be down with you. It might be like on the main floor, so you might have to come up to do laundry. Depending on the conversation you have with the owner of the house, they'll have days where they would open the laundry for you to use. So those are things you're entitled to. You're entitled to also having a part in the mailbox, because you could receive mail through it. So the reason why I'm saying that basement living should not be downplayed is because, when you come into Canada, and depending on how you come, if you come as a single person, basement, studio apartments are just like, studio apartments is like the top of a house. The one we're seeing movie now is just like a floor, just one floor where your bed is. Everything is just in that place. It's like a room self-contained in Nigeria. That's what studio apartment is like. But there's some studio apartment that you see there, but like, oh my god, this is so nice. So it just depends on how the structure is and your own preference to setting up your own house. So if you're coming as a single person into Canada, you might really want to consider those two kind of places, apartments to live in, because first of all, it's going to save you money. You're not spending a lot of money, and your bills are going to be shared. Do you get what I mean? Like, you're going to be sharing your bills with the owner of the house or the person living in the main unit, and you're not going to be paying as much as they're paying. So you might want to look into this. Don't downplay that. And be sure, another thing about living in Ontario in general is that you always sign a 1-year lease, meaning that be sure that you can stay in that place for 1 year. Just be sure about that. Second kind of apartment that exists here is called the condo apartments. And condo apartments are like face my face you flat in Nigeria. You know how we have like buildings and you have like 6 flats or 8 flats, and the doors are facing each other. You get the entrance of the flats are facing each other. That's a condo apartment. That's what a condo apartment is like. And the good thing about condo apartment is that you don't get to pay a lot of bills too. This is what I mean. Like, if you live in a condo apartment, if you rent a condo apartment, the owner of the condo apartment is the one that would pay majority, because condo apartment will have maintenance fee and all of that. It's the landlord that will be paying all of that, not you. So your rent is always like also very reasonable. Like, you don't have to be paying all those extra bills. You don't have to be cutting grasses or mowing the lawn. You don't have to be doing all of that. That's another advantage. And it's always good for a family too, like a small family, maybe a family of 3. I say people that are more than that that live in condo. It depends on your preference. But getting a house in Ottawa or in Ontario depends totally on your pocket, location, and what you can afford, because you want to make sure that the house you're getting is something you can sustain, like your income can sustain. That's like the major thing. So when you look at condos, basements, studio apartments, you want to be sure that, okay, I can live in this house. First of all, I think I can stay here for 1 year before stepping up, or maybe still retaining the rent. Or you want to be sure that it's somewhere that meets your needs, is habitable for you. So condo apartment is that kind of place. And you also have a parking space majorly. You have 1 parking space in most condo. You have a house for being house. You don't have to be monitoring or saying, okay, when are they coming to carry the dustbin? No, you have a place where you can throw your bin, different corners where you can throw your bin. Like, it's for the whole condo, for the whole area. Condos are like a particular area. Like, there'll be several buildings like that attached to each other, and that whole place will have a house where they throw their bins and stuff like that. So another good thing, you don't have to be clearing snow from your driveway or from your pathway, because the condo maintenance will take care of that. You don't have to pay for that. So that's it about condo. You just come into your house, live in. The condo maintenance will take care of all the things. In fact, you don't even have to pay for water in most condos. You don't have to pay for water extra. Just like basement, you don't have to pay for all those bills as such. You might just be paying like 20% or 30% of the general bill, which would be a very, very little amount. So for condos too, you don't have to pay for water. Sometimes the landlord might add it to your house rent. All right, sometimes the landlord can decide to add it to the rent, or hot water tanks, all those stuff like that. The landlord can decide to add it to the rent, and it's just part of your rent, and not like you're paying extra bill for it. But the amount of gas you use, amount of hydro, maybe your internet, all those ones are paid by you. They are paid by you. For basement, it might be covered with the main house, and you just have to pay a part from it, because the house will have its own wireless, and you just pay a part from it. So it's like you're just paying a portion of it, not the whole thing, compared to a condo where you have to pay your own full bills. So yeah, but lowering the mon, is it mowing the lawn or lowering the mon? I don't know. Clearing up snow from your driveway, you don't have to do all of that, because the condo maintenance will do that, and you don't have to pay for it. That's if you rent a condo. So the next kind of apartment is like a basic, they call it apartment. I don't know why they call it apartment, but that's what it's called. You see all those tall buildings that you not see plenty windows, plenty windows. They are called apartments. And how is it different from condo? I don't know. They have lifts. Maybe that's one. That's one way it's different from condos. They have lifts because they are high-rise buildings. They're called apartments, and they have lifts. They have underground parking space. They have a gym. Yes, apartments will have a gym that you have access to as a tenant living there. You have an underground parking space, because of the way it's always built, you don't have parking space around it. The parking space is on the ground. Then you have a gym, and you have one spot of underground parking space. Most of these rented condos and apartments will just give you one spot of parking space. They won't give you two, just one. Underground parking space, you have the gym. What else do you have? You have a rooftop in an apartment. Yeah, you have a rooftop. I once stayed in an apartment when I went to Edmonton, and I visited a rooftop. Yeah, you have a rooftop where you can take the lift. I'll take you up. That apartment was how high? I think it was 50 levels or so. They're always so high. I don't like apartments. I really do not like, because they're just so high, and it's as if we are stacking up on top of each other. But that's the way it is anyway. And for apartments, of course, you have an owner. If you're renting it out, there'll be an owner that would rent it out for you. There'll be an apartment maintenance, yada yada, someone like that. Someone might be in the building, like a manager that will be managing the whole apartment. If you have issues, you just report to. You have to have a key to use with the entrance. It's like a hotel, that kind of thing. Like the way a hotel looks like you enter, you see the entrance, like, you know the way it looks like now. The way a hotel looks like, yeah, that kind of feel. So yeah, that's the apartment. It's very, very similar to condo. Very similar to condo, but it's just, this one is a very, very high-rise building, like a very tall building. And the difference between condo and apartment is that for apartment you get a gym, you get an underground parking space. Condo, you don't have underground parking space. You park like right in front of the buildings. Yeah, of course the money is always different. The pay for apartments are always lesser compared to condo, because condo is like bigger apartments. How do I say it? Yeah, so condo is not as much as apartment would be, so the price will be a little bit less than a condo. Then the last group of buildings or houses that people stay is called the townhouse. The townhouse is a house, like a complete house. So there are some that are detached from each other, and there are some that are attached to each other. I'll show you a picture of what I mean by attached. Like they're like roofs, you know, together, but they're separate houses. Like they have entrances, they have a house, They always come in like 3 beds, 4 beds. 3 beds, 4 beds majorly, and a basement. It comes together, a garage. That's what a townhouse has. It has a garage. It has like a 3 bed or 4 bed. It has a basement. It has a driveway. It has a backyard. Do you understand? So all of the other houses I mentioned do not have all of this. So townhouse is like the largest, like the biggest, like I can say that I know, because it comes like a complete house. And it can be rented and it can be owned. Of course, if you're renting that, you know that maybe you have a big family, because maintenance is going to be more expensive. The same way you don't bother yourself about mowing the lawn or clearing the snow in a condo, same for apartment. But for townhouse, you are bothered about it because you have to take care of your environment. You have to mow the lawn, you have to clear the snow yourself or pay someone to do it for you, but they are all on you. Pay for your water, yes, because it's a house. It's not like a condo, like you guys are like 3 or 6 in that building. Do you understand? It's a house. You have to pay for your water coming from the government and all of that. So the bills are more for a house. So if you're coming as an immigrant, depending on your number of family, depending on how many you are, you want to consider the kind of apartment to stay in. I've tried to explain each of them and what they do and what they do not. And trust me, the least expensive is like a studio apartment up until basement. I'm saying it in order of least to highest. Basement, apartment, the one in the high-rise buildings, condo, then a townhouse, a full townhouse. So, and there are different structures to this thing. There are different structures to this house, especially townhouse. There are different structures to it. There are different, architectural structure to them, designs. But a townhouse is a townhouse. It will have majorly those things. It will have a basement. It will have a garage. It would have a backyard. It would have majorly that. But some might not have a basement. Some might have what they call a den. Some are called den. I think those ones are condos. I'm not so sure, but they're almost like the same prices of townhouse. So the money will vary for you depending on what you want. So you really want to look at your purse and look at how much you can sustain yourself for 1 year. And you know that when you're coming as an immigrant, if you want to rent houses, because you don't have a history of credit score and all of that in Canada, they might ask you to pay like 3 months in advance instead of the regular 1 month or 2 months. Max like 3 months or 4 month payment at once, which can be very, very tricky, especially for immigrants. But that's what most landlords would ask for if you're just coming into Canada for the first time. You don't have a credit score, you don't have a guarantor, all those things. They max pay for 4 months because they don't want issues that after the first month you're not able to pay for second month. So you have to make sure that you have that money. So that's what I'm saying. Looking at the house you want to rent is very, very important, so that you don't rent a house like a full townhouse and you realize that you don't know where the money to pay for the next rent to be coming from. So it's very, very important that you cut your clothes according to the material you have. Whatever apartment you're renting, make sure you know that, okay, at all, I ain't bad pass. I'll still be able to pay for this for the next couple of months. And you want to have a good relationship with your landlord. Trust me, or whoever is renting the apartment with you. I'm not saying that to you. I'm not saying that you should be greeting your landlord, saying hi. No, I'm not saying that. Good relationship in the sense that you want to make sure you always pay your bills at the right time. Because everything that has to do with finances or money always goes on record in Canada. Always goes on record. And you know what? When you're leaving that apartment and going to another apartment, I'm just using apartment as a general word. When you're living wherever you're staying and moving to another one after your 1 year lease is over, the way you're going to might ask you for a referral from where you're coming from to be sure that you use the house properly and you paid your bills. Everything goes on record in Canada. Everything. When it comes to money transactions, it all goes on record. So you want to make sure that you have a good relationship with your landlord. You want to make sure that you pay your bills. That's what I mean by a good relationship, as you're supposed to, and you take good care of the house. That's it. Because you would need a referral from the landlord in most cases if you're moving to another house, especially if you're an immigrant. I'm saying immigrant because you're an immigrant. That's it. I am. And it will take a lot of effort for them to just trust you that, okay, you're fine. You're fine. And you will have to move one day, or sooner or later, you will move to another house. So you want to keep a very good relationship and make sure that the landlord does not feel terrible about you or feel somehow about you, that you don't pay your money or you misuse the house or you destroyed things in the house. So try and keep that, on the minimal, and try to keep the house in a very good place. So guys, that's it about my video for today. I have been talking about houses, different kind of houses, and how the values are. If you're coming as a family of if it's just you coming, you want to look at basements and studio apartments or shared apartments, because there's some houses that share, especially for students. They share the rooms, share everything, where you guys are paying, like you're splitting the bills into like 4. Yeah, houses do that too, like all those shared flats in school, like back in Nigeria where you guys rent a house but it's shared. So you want to look at that. If you're coming as a family of 2, you might want to consider apartments or condos, because they are, even if you're coming as a large family, of course the landlord will ask you questions. How many are you going to be? There'll be forms to fill and all of that, and you want to be truthful as much as you can. Not like they're going to come and drag you out of the house, no, but you want to be truthful. You always need referrals when you're living there and going to another place. It's very important that you keep a very good relationship with your landlord. So guys, that's what today's video is all about. Just talking about the different kind of apartments or houses you can rent as an immigrant. And please don't forget the part of finding someone. If you know someone that is already in wherever you are and you have a good relationship with that person, it's always good if you can stay there for like the first few weeks, but don't stay there for too long. Yeah, don't stay there for too long, because even if they don't tell you, don't stay there for too long. Like when I mean too long, don't stay there for like 3 months, 4 months. Just do your bit there. It's none of my business anyway, but I'm just saying, like, don't overuse any or overstretch any relationship that you have here in Canada. But it's very good if you have a place to soft land and where you can stay for the first few nights or for the first few weeks of your landing in Canada, to get yourself sorted out, to go and visit houses that you can go. And please, I have to say this before I leave, people get scammed in regards to renting apartments. People get scammed, so be very, very careful. You don't want to rent a house before you reach Canada. Only if you know somebody that you trust so well that can help you visit those houses, confirm with the landlord, confirm your payment, do stuff like that. But if you don't know anybody in diaspora, like if you're still in Nigeria, just wait till you get here. And if you don't know anybody at all, you can try staying in an Airbnb, because you don't want to just rent an apartment blindly without seeing the places or without knowing someone that has gone to visit there for you. Please try and get here first. I don't agree to, oh, I already spoke to the person has done this, I already paid. No, get here. Like, reach here first. Get to where you're going to, get to the province, get to the area, go and visit the house in person before you start making payments or concluding. Or if you know someone that you trust to go and do all those visitations for you, to check what the apartment is like, to see the landlord or to see the caretaker, because some landlords don't deal directly with houses. It might just be the caretaker. But either ways, you still get to meet the landlord, or maybe through mails or through phone conversation or something. So it's very, very important that you see. Don't get scammed. If you're not yet landed, I don't advise you renting an apartment over the phone. Get to Canada first, get to your province first before you start doing that. So guys, I just have to say that, because people get scammed a lot. Like I said, you think there are scammers in Nigeria. Oh, there are triple, quadruple, plenty here. So don't leave your street sense in Nigeria when you're coming to Canada. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Do not forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to comment. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, because I did not know when I came. Now I know, and I'm trying to tell you people. See you guys in my next video. Bye.